Time to time here, okay, that this is not just a meeting, this is more of a seminar. This is for you guys to learn the game at a different level than before, okay? Does that make sense? This isn't just simply, we have nothing else to do, and then we're just going to fill time until the varsity game starts and whatnot, okay? So my hope is that you guys are paying attention like this is class. You guys are jotting down some ideas that will help you succeed as a baseball player, whether that's in hitting or pitching. Does that make sense? So get comfortable, get a note out, a pen, pencil out, get something to write on, okay? Because my hope is that, unlike when I was your age at the B team level, my hope is that you guys are going to understand some things that you've never understood before, okay? To start with, right, this kind of presentation is about the game in a nutshell. You guys have all played baseball for most of your lives, right? You guys think you understand the game. And some of you guys, at some levels, you understand some aspects of the game that is pretty good. Today, I'm going to kind of give you kind of a nutshell version of what baseball is all about, okay? And as the title suggests, it's a game of numbers. And it sounds like a cliche. It is a freaking cliche. All right? But it's about increasing and decreasing odds in the numbers game. I cannot stress that enough. Increasing or decreasing the odds of success. That's all it is. Okay? Whether you play soccer, whether you play lacrosse, football, it's about increasing the odds of success, right? And decreasing the odds of failure. That's it. That's the secret. Okay? If you don't believe me, let's take a look at this presentation. Now, all of this can be found on Coach Baseball Right and the Coaching Academy. Now, odds are, especially with guys talking in the background here and there, odds are you probably think you know it all, right? And therefore, you can't use additional resources. Well, I'm telling you, this Coaching Academy, especially for pitchers, you guys should be looking at this. We'll talk about this later. CoachBaseballRight.com, it's on the sheet, Coaching Academy. All right, so let's talk about the numbers. You guys, some of you may have heard this, right? Hitting, right? The greatest hitters of the game, right, fail 7 times out of 10. How many of you have heard hitting is the best hitters of the world fail 7 times out of 10? Raise your hand. You guys should have heard this, right? For you guys that love grades, that's 30%. That's a 30% on your test. That's a terrible score. 30%, right? Success. That's terrible. But yet the best hitters in the world score 30% on their test, right? So out of 10 at-bats, they will fail 7 times. Okay? So you are already, as a hitter, you are already at a huge, huge, huge disadvantage. Right? It doesn't matter if you're a freshman or a sophomore or you just won the World Baseball Classic. You're at a huge disadvantage as a hitter. Can we all agree upon that? Okay? Because you're at a huge disadvantage, every single aspect of what I will talk about, you need to try to increase the odds of success. Does that make sense? Since you are already at a 30% success rate, how do you increase the odds of success? That's the question. Guess what? The pitcher is trying to get you to decrease your odds of success. That's the game. That's the beauty of it. Does that make sense to you guys? So how do we do that? Let's take a look. We are encouraging our players to have a mental plan at the plate. Okay? Right here on the page. We are encouraging you guys to have a mental plan. If you were honest, and my hand was raised when I was 17 years old, this was my plan. My plan was see it, and it'll look good, you hit it. You swung, right? How many of you right now would be confident enough to say, yeah, Mr. Z, that is exactly my plan of action, okay? And what I'm telling you now, okay, is to have a mental approach. I'm going to say a generality here. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that everyone here in this room, when they hit, should be looking for one thing, one particular pitch. And if you say otherwise, I would debate you big time on this, but I don't want to get into that because that could hurt your confidence. What pitch should you guys be looking for every time you're up at the plate? What pitch? What kind of pitch? Fastball. If you answered in your head, no, man, I like curveballs. I like hitting you're fooling yourself. Okay? I won't get into the details. You're just fooling yourself. Look for a fastball. Okay? Why a fastball? Well, Mr. Z, it's too quick. It's too fast. Okay, I get you.
Straight.
It's straight. It stays relatively on the same plane, right? So I'll take a pitch that I can at least try to get on the same plane, right? With that curveball, do I go early or do I wait? That's tough. Everyone here should be looking fastball, okay? Part of your plan. You read fastball. Now here's the beauty. In your batting practice, are you really looking at this or this? You should be reading fastball. When you see this as a hitter, when that pitcher is up here versus here, and I don't care how bad the curveball or how good the curveball is, when you see this, you have to immediately recognize that, and you have to have the discipline to say, if it's 0-0, 0-1, 1-0, I'm taking. Does that make sense? This, game on. Now let's see, right? Second part of the plan. You guys ready? How many of you, at this level, I would argue you should divide up the plate in two. Middle in and middle away. As you guys get older, right? As you guys get older and play varsity or you guys play in college or whatever the heck you guys want to do, you will actually get really specific with your zones. I mean, Matt Carpenter, right, of the Cardinals, has particular zones that he looks for in particular counts. For you guys, let's keep it simple. Divide the plate into two. It's right here. Okay? I'm left-handed. Middle in, middle away. I'm going to look for fastball, middle away. Or I'm going to look for fastball, middle in. Now, how do I determine that? How do I determine whether or not I go middle away or middle in? What you're good at. In the cage, are you looking middle away and you're smoking and driving that ball to the opposite field? If you're middle in, are you pulling that ball? Right? Those are the things that you process. Does that make sense? You have to do this in the batting cage. We can't all manufacture that for you guys. Fastball, okay, is it middle in or is it middle away? Based on my approach, am I swinging? Okay. Curveball, unless it's 2 strikes, I got to protect. I'm not swinging. I have to have that discipline. Why? Let's go back to this. Let's tie back. If I am disciplined to lay off that curveball, what am I doing to the odds? Increase. If I'm swinging, I am doing exactly what the pitcher wants. Pretty obvious, pretty easy to understand, correct? Now, we could get a little bit more complicated, right? Guy at second base, and I'm a right-handed hitter. Okay, and I usually like to swing middle in. What am I looking for now? Middle away to drive that ball to the right side so I can move that runner. You see how that could change. Okay, but that's for the guys that kind of get some of the things I'm talking about. Okay, so divide the plate, read fastball. From here on out, what I would like to do is just talk to your coaches and say, okay, when I show up to practice, Hey, what are you swinging at? Hey, I've got this statistic at DeSmet the other day. I saw that you had a pretty good at bat. What was your approach? Everyone in this room should say, hey, I had this great approach. I was looking, middle away. He kept giving me middle in. I took 2 strikes, fouled off a couple, and then got hit by a pitch, and I was on base. Is that great at bat? Okay, do you guys see what we're getting at? Quality at bats, second point here. Quality at bats. I've looked at the B teams already. I have not looked at the freshman team yet. The B team, I've been pretty impressed with the quality of bats. Now, it's still early. The small sample size cliche is still in the effect, right? Quality of bats. Traditionally speaking, you need to work the count at least to 6 pitches plus. If you strike out on 3 pitches, that's not a quality of bat. If you strike out and you've seen 7 pitches, my hat's off to you. I don't care if you struck out. You battled. That's what we want here at this high school. Does that make sense? Now, guy at second base, guy at third base, we got a pinch hitter, or you come up at bat, and it's a guy in runners in scoring position. Are we trying to get 6 pitches? No. Hey, odds are, if you're a pitcher, Anthony, if you're a pitcher, guy at second, guy at third, and that guy comes up, your mentality is a little different, isn't it? It's a little bit more timid. You're a little bit more fragile. You really want to get ahead. You want to maybe put one down in that middle. Guess what? Green light. You're looking. You cannot wait, right? You come up to bat, whether it's a pinch hitter or just the guy at runner's scoring position. Oh, this is awesome. Come on, give me that pitch, and then you're loading. You're unloading on this pitch. Now, if you foul it or whatever, hey, you missed it, but that's okay. You had that kind of approach. Does that make sense? So that's the exception where we don't go up in the pitch count. I remember a couple of years of one of the varsity players comes up second and third, and this guy was awesome, right? He's a big guy, fastball straight down the middle. I swear to you, and he took it. Yeah, I mean, that was a chance just to unload, right? Just to unload. So keep that in mind. Move runners over and get on base. There's nothing that drives me more crazy when I coach first base and a guy, curveball comes in, and this kid has never been that athletic. All of a sudden, he's like a jungle cat, flies out of the way, gets out of the way of the ball. What are you doing? Why didn't you want to get hit? Get on base. Increase those odds for our success. Get on base. Does that make sense? Good at quality of bat. Okay, RBIs, always. RBIs over individual stat. I'd rather much have an RBI sac fly than a meaningless dink hit for nothing. Okay? Why? Because it increases our odds for success. Couple things, important counts to remember. Your OO, stick to the plan unless it's runners in scoring position. So you come up, right, and you're digging in for the first pitch, right, OO, you already have in your mind middle away, middle in, and it's pretty much a fastball. You're thinking that, right? And now all you have to do is recognize this or this, and then if it's this, in or out. That's it. And just put a good swing on it. Okay? 2-0. This drives coaches crazy. Think about this for a second. You're ahead in the count as a hitter. It's 2-0. Things are looking good, right? If I'm a traditional kid, I just get complacent, right? It's 2-0. I'm looking forward to the walk. Here's what I would suggest. 2-0, I know this pitcher. This pitcher is just going to pipe it because he doesn't want to go 3-0. No pitcher wants to go 3-0, so that ball is going to come right here. I cannot be late on that swing. How many times have you seen, right, 2-0, and a left-handed hitter is late and fouls them all? I remember sophomore year at DeSmet, I was late 0-0 and 0-1. It was unbelievable. I didn't have that mentality. I didn't have that kind of instruction, right? 2-0, and you are looking to rip that fastball. If you're doing a foul, it better be pulled foul. Makes sense. Have that mentality. Have that aggressiveness. Okay? Anything in one strike, or excuse me, 3-0. 3-0. I remember, and I told Mr. Elman I'd tell this story. 3-0. I did it. Some of you are like, man, 3-0, this is great. It's like they slow it down and it comes right here. And this is the best pitch to hit. I was benched against Lutheran South my sophomore year because I swung through a take sign. I didn't see the take sign. I thought, man, what a great pitch. It was a terrible batting. I was in the wrong. Coach was in the right for sitting me. 3-0, you take. Why? It increases the odds for success. If you hit a little number on 3-0, ground out, how demoralizing. Does that make sense? Anything in one strike is your plan. Stick to your plan. One strike in your plan. Now your plan could change, right? But stick to a plan. 0 or 1 and 2. So you have 2 strikes. Your job is to battle. Your job is not to put your fate in the hands of the umpire. Let me repeat that because you might want to write this down. Your job with 2 strikes is to battle. You have to foul tip. You have to put a half-hearted swing on it. You have to battle so you can get a mistake from the pitcher. Think about that. I remember I was 3-2 against a grade school buddy who pitched for CBC, right? I had 3 foul balls, and then finally he threw me a mistake pitch, and I had a single into the outfield. You have to battle. Most kids, I'm going to take and hopefully that umpire didn't see that. Strikeout, right? You have to battle, okay? Any questions? Any questions about hitting? Come on. You guys have to be thinking here. Freshmen, you have to be thinking. You guys are all looking glass-eyed at me. Perry, what do you think?
So I have a question about when you have 1 strike on you. So we're supposed to stick to our plan, but is it okay to maybe expand your zone a little bit because you have an extra strike, or just
So
stay with the plan?
I would say to the plan with 1 strike. Now, expanding certainly does. You got to be a little bit more expanded with 2 strikes. Here's why. 1 strike, yeah, I get it. You don't want to get that extra strike. I get it. But you still, you don't, with 1 strike on you, your odds are decreasing. So you don't want to decrease your own by expanding the zone. Stick to the plan. Now, that plan may be, hey, I looked at 2 fastballs away, and I've been looking at middle in, so that may change, right? But you're not going to switch to a curveball plan, okay? Stick to what you can hit and hit the mistake, okay? Other questions? Yeah, Dick.
So you're on you're ahead in the count, and like you see the outfielders are like there's a gap open, like a bigger gap in like right center, left center.
Yeah.
Would you change your approach or stick to?
I would stick to the plan, okay? Now, it's 2-0 and they've shifted. If your plan was middle in and now you want to go middle away, that's okay. I think sticking to that plan, sticking to a plan, and being disciplined on that plan is fine. Okay, yeah.
So in that situation, as long as you stick to like some sort of plan, so like you can change your plan.
Yeah, per pitch. And actually, the higher you get, the more you're going to have more sophistication on that. Several years ago, Matt Holliday, when he first came over, it was against the Dodgers, playoff game, right? It was the one where it hit off his, yeah. And Matt Holliday had a brutal series. He got up to the plate, 0-0, runners in scoring position, and he got I think it was a curveball. You remember this? He got like a curveball and he took it. And everyone's like, oh my gosh! Come on, swing the bat! Next pitch, literally, I think he took again. 0-2. And we're like, this guy is totally losing this for us, right? Third pitch, swung, weak swing, struck out, the inning's over. He just didn't get what, that pitcher knew what Matt Holliday's plan was. You have to understand, it's not all about your planned success. Because as a pitcher, as we will talk, first pitch strikes, right? I'm trying to bust your plan up. I'm trying to get you out of your package, right? Swing package. Does that make sense? So the best hitters in the world are terrible at this, right? They're only good at 3 out of 10 times. Okay, moving on. Base running. I cannot stress this enough. B team, where are you? Good work. I think Mr. Ellman has been very happy thinking a double. I think that's paid dividends for you guys this year so far. Keep it up. That's outstanding. I was really excited to hear that. Now, base running. In this program, run by Steve Nicolrud, we must be exceptional at this. Anticipate in baseball, all right? Anticipate base running. If you're at first base and that pitcher thinks he can throw curveballs, right? And if I'm looking at first base, or the pitcher at first base, and I see that curveball, right? And I can see, and coaches, this is where you can practice, I can see that ball short hopping the catcher, coming to hitting right before the plate. Guess what I'm doing? Gone. I can see that trajectory, and it's going to hit, and that catcher's going down, gone. I will take a base runner who does that, and a catcher who scoops that thing up and fires down to get him out. Oh, hey, kudos to you. You had a great read, right? Great read. Catcher just made a phenomenal play. Odds are, ball's in the dirt, catcher's going to get eaten up, and you should be at second, right? So now that ball that squirts out only about 6 feet, you're safe by making that initial read instead of after. Does that make sense to you guys? So anticipate. Relay situation. I kind of want to get into this a little bit, just introduce this to you guys, right? Relay situation. You're a base runner at first base, okay? And someone crushes the ball. The opposing team's outfielders runs to go get the ball. It's a relay situation, so it's a tandem, right? You guys all see this in your heads? Second baseman and shortstop go out. You're the base runner from first base. You know you're going to third. The question is, can you score? All right? Now think about this. You get to third pretty closely, right? Ball is going to be thrown into the shortstop or second baseman, right? So here's the throw. You're at third. I catch. What do those middle infielders usually do in a relay situation? You think about this. Here I am, right? Shortstop or second baseman. Catch. What do they do? What do I physically do? What have you seen infielders do? Chrissy, you got it?
Yeah, they stop in front of the runner.
They stop, and what do they do with their hands? Yes! They bring them down, or they run it in, right? Think about this for a second. Here, not here. Here, drop, or runs it in. Now, if you're at third base, and you're running around, and you come to third, and you turn to go home real hard to read that fielder, if he drops his arm, what can you do? You go. Is that cool? 3 times I've seen that happen. We're safe. That relay guy goes here, drops. What does he have to do? He's got to reload to make that huge throw. Still will run. Okay? So you anticipate those kinds of things. Last thing for base running cut throwing. I saw Pujols do this, right? You're thinking a double, you're thinking a double, you're thinking a double, right? All of a sudden, you see a throw offline or to a wrong fielder, and your momentum's already going to second. It's not the throw's not coming into second. It goes to a different, maybe a shortstop. You're gone, right? You're gone. Last thing, the reason why we emphasize base running increases the odds of success, right? Pitching, real quick, and then we'll get you guys out to the varsity game. Pitching. B-team pitchers, you need to listen up here, because Mr. Weber and Mr. Ellman have talked to you about this. Your two pitches that you need to be concerned with, changeup and fastball, right? Change and fastball. Stop the addiction to the curveball. Why? It has nothing to do with elbows. It has nothing to do with what? With that? Fastball and changeup are predictable?
No, like curveball, we keep calling it.
No, nothing to do with that.
You can like see a curveball out of their hands much
No.
quicker.
Like sometimes your curveball won't be working, like your changeups and fastballs always.
It's more consistent. Fastball and changeup are more consistent. And the second thing is, hitters have to be in time. Hitters are, their success is purely off of time. If you can change the time, the speed of the pitch, you are going to increase your odds as a pitcher for success. Curveballs are unpredictable. They're inconsistent, especially at this level. Fastballs, changeups. One of the best players I've ever seen was a freshman on varsity several years ago. He went 35 innings with no runs. And all he threw, his first pitch was a changeup, and his secondary pitch was a fastball. And he was getting out the best players, the best hitters in our conference. He had shoulder surgery and never was able to throw that well again after freshman year because of other football injury. Change-up and fastball. Change-up and fastball. Change-up and fastball. Which leads me to my other points. Strike one. You have to get ahead. Strike one. Strike one. We are now charting first pitch strikes. Right? B team, there's a range there that I like that bottom range to kind of come up. First pitch strikes. Why? Because it increases your odds of success. Okay? Get ahead, stay ahead. After 3 pitches, you should be ahead of the count. That's why we're doing the charting for bullpens the way we're doing. Okay? Pitching backwards. There is a video here on pitching backwards on the Coaching Academy. Pitchers, tonight, tomorrow, during the afternoon, whatever, you guys need to be watching this. Pitching backwards means that you are going to throw what a hitter does not expect. Okay? As a hitter, it's 2-0. What are you expecting? Fastball. 2-0, as a pitcher, you're going to throw off changeup. Why? That hitter is so geeked up for that fastball that he's going to pull that pitch foul or maybe roll it over in an easy ground ball. You have to pitch backwards. Okay? Absolutely no walks. Walks increases the odds of success for the other team. Which leads me to fielding. Fielding. If you give an extra out through an error, you're increasing the chance for that other team to succeed. Baseball is truly a game of numbers. Your understanding of this game of numbers is really important to then execute what your coaches are telling you. Okay? Thank you. And if you guys have any questions, feel free. I do think B team, you guys are down and watching.